understand it?
Hello. Oh, it feels good to be back in my comfortable area of live streaming. That is where I'm at. It feels good to be back to where I'm comfortable live streaming in my room. Lord Doug, love above, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello. Thunder Miro, Tristan, welcome. Kerr, hello. Gary, Blazers, Reloaded, Hot Cows, Spider, welcome. How are we, guys? Yeah, a little bit early today. A little bit early. The garage is going well. Yeah. The garage is going well. Jake, welcome. How are you, buddy? Welcome. Merlin, hello. Great Dane, welcome, my friend.
Hey, Joey.
Kingsmill. Kingsmill, did you know? I've been meaning to talk to you, but I don't think I've seen you in here necessarily, right? Insomnia got cancelled. It got cancelled. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Thunder. Bodge, welcome. Nate, hello. Archie, hello. Matt, hello, welcome. Hoping to see you on Saturday about lunchtime. Yeah, like I said, I'll probably be more active on Discord to let people know that I'll be just on my Todd. Well, I'll have a friend with me and we'll be walking around the convention. So yeah, that's for DreamHack. Captain, thank you very much for the tier 1 for 19 months. I appreciate you. And Jake coming in with a prime 30 months in 8 row. Trigger on a hype train. Thank you. I did see. Yeah. So that sucks. Yeah. Pollock. How are you today, my friend? Welcome. How are you? Bodge over on Twitch as well. Yeah, I was saying it just feels nice to be back in a location, which is my room. Because I feel like I've kind of, especially like the last stream was with the garage and all over the place. Whereas now we're back to a bit of normality, doing some nice fixes and stuff, you know. Tom, welcome. How are you? AZ, welcome. Gabrielle, hello. Good afternoon. Can't believe it, but it does mean one thing. You can still come up and do the pizza wet. Scotty Do 1990, thank you very much for the prime for 3 months. I appreciate it. Thank you. Trying to wake up. Feels like I'm running in pudding. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. How was Lee after the stream? Yeah, he was made up. I transferred him the money this morning. I had to. It's not like a simple thing to do, if that makes sense. Because it's run through the business, any donations that went to him, I had to make sure that I logged properly, because otherwise I didn't want HMRC seeing that it was income for me, you know? So every single individual transaction, I had to sort and make sure that it was very clear that it was holding funds essentially for him. So I wasn't able to. Then yesterday was a family day because I had to sacrifice Saturday as a family day to do the garage. Then I had family day yesterday, so I didn't have time to do it yesterday. And then today, all the stuff had come through, and I was able to just quickly sort through it and transfer him the funds. So yeah, that was interesting. Techno. Welcome, and thank you very much for your generosity to Lee the other day on the garage stream. It was much appreciated, mate. Thank you. Reporting for duty. Yeah, I was speaking to my cousin about. He came around on, when was it? Sunday. He came around Sunday just to confirm some little bits and bobs. He's the electrician. The cousin's the electrician. Swagapotamus. Thank you very much for the prime. I appreciate that. Thank you. And we were talking about dado. So yeah, I'm just the only thing that I think I'm necessarily going to be stuck with. I've ordered the doors and I've ordered the windows. I've ordered the doors, I've ordered the windows, and I need to get some bricks and other bits and bobs. But I think the main thing that I'm going to be stuck with is networking and sockets and all of those things now, because I need to think about layout. And I don't know. I think I'm overthinking it a bit too much, you know. So I need to kind of sit down. I was thinking about maybe even just doing it on a stream and putting the dimensions in paint, and everyone just putting their heads together and seeing what the ideal sort of setup would be for the garage in terms of what I do for content creation and like a nice little workbench or a couple of workbenches, you know. Parney says, found your YouTube channel recently. I graduated as an electronic engineer but transitioned to software and you're helping me get back into it. Let's go, lovely jubbly. Everyone here knows what they're doing. I'm just here. No, I don't know what I'm doing. I've tried ChatGPT, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one because it's not 100% accurate. It's still, you know, it still fails on a bunch of things. It's telling me to like prepare for some, you know, prepare for certain sockets and those sorts of things, but I kind of just need to visualize it and have it all in place and be able to just hand it to my cousin and be like, here we go. This is what I want where. But I was thinking dado, but I don't want dado going the whole way around because if I have dado going the whole way around, then I can't put any like racking or anything up flush against the wall, if that makes sense. So yeah, I have to kind of just put some drawings together or something. Family days are important though. Yes. Alton Towers, nice. I went to Portman's Park a couple of weekends ago. So yeah, that was really, really good. Alton Towers, yeah. I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm not very good at roller coasters. We went to Peppa Pig World and there was a helicopter ride, you know. That was enough for me. That was enough. So yeah, Suresh, welcome. How are you? Welcome, guys. Welcome. Struggling to put a PC together. I have no idea what I'm doing. If you need help, honestly, the Discord is a pretty good place for help. Russ, welcome, buddy. How are you? Sockets on the ceiling. Is that your advice, Techno? Is that your advice? Well, I was looking at those Tapo cameras. I think one of the last streams that I actually done, I don't know if it was relating to the Tapo camera, probably not. But I was looking at the Tapo camera with the floodlight, right? I think that was one of the last streams that I did where I was sat here. But what I said to my cousin, and I don't know if this is this is a good thing to say. I just said, let's put the cables there just in case. I said, if we put cables for power and data, so just an Ethernet with power next to it where I think the cameras are going to go, then I have both alternatives, don't I? And just tuck it up in the ceiling or something. Yeah, nice, Scotty. Yeah. I used to love roller coasters myself. Now they just make me feel a bit queasy. Yeah, nice. I like that. How are you, Russ? You okay? Alias, welcome. I plan on having an outdoor socket as well on the outside of the brickwork for the garden. Because we're looking to get the garden done eventually as well at some point. So we all just need to... I feel like there's a lot of pressure for me to just get it right. But I also, you know, as long as I get my Cat 6 out there, and am I right? I don't know if anybody can tell me this from a PoE standpoint, right? Just going from my router into something else is not going to provide PoE. So in that example, would I have to have a switch that has power allocated to it as well, which then converts the standard Ethernet or Ethernet to PoE? Is that how it works? Harry, welcome. Yeah, like a PoE switch. Is that what I would need? A PoE switch or PoE injector? Gotcha. Okay, fine. So there's like an 8-way switch here, which is 40 quid. It's a PoE, so it's a PoE plus switch. Yeah, something like that. But then I don't know what. Well, it's 30 watt, 62 watt total budget apparently. But I don't know what the speeds of that are. Because I was thinking about when we go into the garage, you literally where I've got the fuse board in, like I'll make a cupboard or something, and in that cupboard I'll have a power switch and the PoE power switch as well. When I say power switch, I'm talking about an actual socket. I should say socket, and a PoE switch. That's the. I have just seen a 26 port 2.5 gigabit PoE switch for £330. That's funny. So I've got a question then. So on that, do you have like, is there a certain amount that are PoE and then a certain amount that aren't PoE, or is like, can I just plug anything in? That's crazy work. What is that? Let me see. Let me look at the picture there. What does a PoE switch do exactly? So it will make Ethernet cable provide power. I don't know what voltage it runs on. So you know how you have a standard Ethernet cable that comes from, if you wanted to hardwire, you'd have one coming from your router into something. So an Xbox, a console, a PC, whatever it is. What a PoE switch will do is convert that. 48 volts? Really? It gives those little cables give 48 volts. What? And do you need do you need a special cable? Or is it just a standard Ethernet? That's crazy. Yeah, I need a PoE switch, 2.5 gig network minimum. 18 port for 166. 2.5 network switch. Is that PoE though? Oh, no, that's the one I purchased. Wait, is that capable PoE? No, it's not. So what I will say is that looking at this is that PoE switches are actually quite expensive. Yes or no? Oh, wait a minute. They do a... Oh, there's a 10... 2.5, 2.5. That's a 2.5. RJ45. Oh, okay. There's like... I mean, it's about £100 for an 8 switch. Yanli, I'm looking at Yanli. Is anybody heard of Yanli? Standard cable. No, I want to go for 2.5. The reason I want to go for... So what I'm looking at is something like this. Something like that. So I think this was £100. But what you get here is you get power. So DC 12 volts goes in. And then it's saying that you get 8 of, you know, a max of 2.5 gigabit. I think that's what I need. So I've got a question, chat. So I could have up to 8 cables. So I'd have a Cat 6 cable going into that. So that's one gone from the house, right? So I'd have one going into there, which would then give me my 2.5 gig connection if need be. For internal network, and it would give me, I think I've got a gig down on my WAN. So WAN is 1 gig and LAN is 2.5 gig, right? For my NAS. So something like this, guys, would that be ideal? Next to my fuse board. And then what I could have is I could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to just different locations in that room? Can I? My question I have for people who are really smart with this stuff, I know Techno is clued up, right? So Techno, does that make sense? That's a proper switch, yeah. Okay, so that's PoE. I can have that for PoE, for non-PoE. But I can plug any Ethernet cables into that and use it like a normal Ethernet, right? They don't all have to be PoE, is that right? It will know what's PoE and what's not, right? Cool. Cool. One for WAN, one for NAS. Yeah, so the WAN, we're going into the garage. The NAS is going to be indoors hunting. So I don't want to have my NAS in my garage. I want to have my NAS in my house. So I'm actually going to have the NAS in the house. So the only cable that is going to be going to that PoE switch is going to be the WAN, right? The one for the WAN. So I literally have 2 to 8 for everything else. My question for any smart people out there, Dan, welcome by the way, hello. My question is, can I have a cable that goes from that PoE switch into another switch? And how many switches can you have daisy chained before you start losing download and upload speed? You can, but you don't want to daisy chain too much. You'll start lose speed the more down the line you go. No limits, the length of cable. So what I think there's about 20 meters from my house to my garage. So I'm going to go Cat 6. Does this, fact or fiction, guys? This sounds okay. This is what I'm thinking, right? This is what I'm thinking. 100-meter cable of Cat 6. 20 meters of that is going to go from my switch indoors, my 2.5 gig switch indoors, to my garage. 20 meters. So I've got 80 meters of cable left. I'm then going to use that cable to make potentially 7 other Ethernet cables that are going to be different lengths that run to different places from that PoE switch in my garage to my workstation, whether that be a TV for testing or whatever it might be. 2 cameras, for example, so 1, 2. So 2 cameras might take up an Ethernet cable. What I'm saying is that the 100 meter roll that I'm going to buy is going to be enough, isn't it? If I have 20 meters going from here to the garage, I'm not going to use 80 meters worth of cable in my small garage, am I? And is that going to be okay? So, Cat 6, 100 meters. And Cat 6 is rated up to, is it 10 gig? .16 port version, very expensive though, Techno. That's the only thing, isn't it? I was just looking. So the one that I was looking at, I'm looking at an 8 and that's 100. A 16 is £160. Oh, there's a 20% voucher on that though. Someone said that's a very good point. Run a pair to the garage to protect for failure of one of the cables. That is an elite suggestion. Because it's going on, but because guys, it's also going under the concrete. Because like I said about getting the garden done as well, right? So this cable's going under the concrete. That's an elite idea. Chances of it going bad under the concrete, pretty slim. But having a pair, just going, because I might as well do that. So again, this is how I have, let me get paint up, right? Let me get paint up. Are you guys ready for this? And then we'll move on to some fixing, okay? Let me get paint up. So I want you guys to tell me if this is going to be the plan, yes or no. Get ready for Joey's amazing skills on paint. Ready? Okay. Ready? So, Joey's house. Joey's garage. Bad roof. Anyway, okay, so this is house, this is garage, yeah? Okay. So in this house, right, I'm going to have switch. Let's say, what have I got? I think I've got a 6. Is it a 6? That Ugreen one that I bought, was it a 6? Yeah, it is a 6. So I've got a switch in my house. This switch is a 2.5 gigabit switch, yeah? And it's got, that's fine. Okay, switch 2.5 gig. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have my router. So this is my router, okay? Yeah? Router. And the switch is here. So this is my switch. So I'm going to have a cable from my router going into my switch. Okay? That's going to provide me with my internet, my WAN. Yeah? In this switch. Then on this switch, I've also got my NAS, which is going to stay in the house. Right? So I've got my NAS on this switch. Again, that's going to be 2.5. That's going to be 2.5, right? So I've got my 2.5 here, plus then, so if I do 2, so I've got 1 going in, NAS. So that's 2 taken up. If I do 2, so 1, 2, go into the garage, yeah? So I've got 2 Ethernets now that are going to the garage. This is not a PoE one, right? All right. So we got router going into switch, NAS going into switch, and then, so I've got, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 out of 6. Yeah? Then in the garage, I'm going to have a switch. But this switch in the garage is going to be PoE, and let's just say 8 for now, right? 8 port, 2.5 gigabit. Ooh. Okay. 2.5 gigabit in the garage as well. So, yes or no, chat? At the moment, on a for my LAN and my WAN. So my WAN is going to be 1 gig down, and my LAN is going to be 2.5 gig down. Right? Fact or fiction? Fact or fiction? Are we good so far? Does that make sense so far, yeah? So if I was to use my NAS, I'm still on the 2.5. If I'm in the garage, I've got my PoE 8 switch, yeah? PoE 8 switch. Okay? So I got my switch there. Why don't you run fiber from house to garage? I don't know. I think just carrying it over the Ethernet is fine, right? It's because it's not too long either. It's not too far. So I've got 2 going here, 2 Ethernets going here. So these 2 Ethernets are going to go into my switch. Like this. Now this is an 8 port, so I'm using 2 right now, right? What's PoE for? You don't need PoE in your stand. So the PoE is potential if I ever want to switch to PoE cameras. So let's just suggest, I don't know where the cameras are going, like 100% yet. But let's just say, so that's the in. So what I'm going to have now is PoE for one camera. And then PoE for another camera. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 8. Then I'm going to have potentially one for a desk. Let's just say desk is up here. Okay, this is my desk. Again, just weird. So there's a desk. And then what I have here is maybe even this one here. This, when I say desk, is going to be a, I don't know, a six-way switch. Okay, and then from that 6-way switch, it will be another 2.5 gigabit. Yeah, so I'll have another switch here, and then on this switch, I'm going to have my PC. So PC and maybe console, and then just in console, and then just in case I have any other bits that I need, I've got the switch there. It doesn't need to be PoE, it's just to switch my PC bits, right? And then, yeah, so that feeds to everywhere else. And then say, for example, okay, let's just say I had a TV that was in this corner that needed Ethernet for whatever reason. So I have a TV here. So I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 8. So I'm using 6 out of the 8 with 2 of them going from my house. That's going to feed off into a normal switch, 2.5 gig, which will be fine because I've just got my, oh wait, it's a switch on a switch. So I'm actually using 3 switches here. Oh yeah. Saying that, I free up one because this cable is just going to be dangling in the network cupboard or whatever, and it's going to have a label saying outside. Yeah. So let's lose that. So actually, it's not 6. It's 7. No, it's not. It's 5. So I've actually got 5 going in here. So I'm going to have it going into another switch. So is this set up, chat? One in the chat if this setup is okay. I'm not looking for ultimate, unbelievable network guru stuff. I'm just saying, would this work? One in the chat if this would work. One in the chat if this would work. You don't need anything better. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't think I need anything better. Lasers. Welcome, by the way. Carl, how are you? How much your provider actually delivers? A gig down. This isn't going to be a problem, is it, guys? That'll work. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Why not have the cable to the garage plugged into the router directly? Because then my internal network, my LAN would not be 2.5 gig for my NAS. That's why, Greg. This 2.5 gig switch. Because basically, oh no, wait, I would. So my router plugs into the NAS here, yeah? And then the NAS here, so my router will just maybe handle a couple of other Ethernet ones that are simple in the house. If I don't have the 2.5 gig switch in the garage and then have it going from 2.5 to 2.5, then I can't use the NAS on 2.5 because if this was like if I had garage going to router, then it would just be 1 gig. Yeah, the router is well, one port on the router is 2.5 gig, but that plugs into the NAS to make it obviously a lot more, if that makes sense. Because one of them, I think pretty much all of them, there's 4 on the back, and I think one of them is 2.5 and the other are 1. So that's why I plug that one into the switcher here, and then the switch to the garage will carry over the 2.5 gig. Otherwise, my NAS in here, if I didn't do that and I used the 2.5 to go to the garage, I'd only have 1 on the NAS because I'd have to use something else on the router, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's about 20 meters. Hey, Fire, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
24 months of Joey Hart.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Cat 7, you can go 10 gig, 100 meter. Even on Cat 6, you'll get 9.9 over the 20. It's just not worth the hassle. So Hunting, you're saying just this is fine, like what I'm doing here?
One should never assume seeing a drawing isn't a kid's doodling. At first, I thought JDT was showing us his kid's artwork until I got a good look at it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oops,
Yeah.
my
fair enough.
bad.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I just realised as well you can't even see my writing. Thank you very much for the 100 bits, by the way.
Good day, everyone.
Garbage, thank you very much for the 15 months. Appreciate you. How are you today? Your NAS will not benefit with the 2.5 if it is only one on the router. That is 2.5. No, because my router with the 2.5 goes into the 2.5 switch, and then my NAS plugs into the 2.5 switch. I get 2.5. My download speeds are, I think it was, I want to say 220 megabits a second transfer rate to a hard drive, whereas before it was like 120, 130. I run 40 meters, almost the same setup, no issues. Oh, so Tech Flipper, this is exactly what you do? Is this what you run? Nice. That's fine in my opinion. Anything fiber will be over-engineered for your purpose. I think I have a 16 or 24 Ubiquiti PoE switch I can help you out with. I appreciate the offer. Obviously, I'm not doing any of that just yet, and we're talking a long way down the line. But I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. That's very kind. Do you have power issues at all? No power issues. Is this the future cam layout for the shop? It's not a shop. It's definitely more so a studio than a shop. It's definitely not a shop. But I would say it's not. It's not a direct layout at all. It's just I just thought quickly I'd try and work something out, and just try and make sense of things. But I'm looking at prices of switches. You look at about 160 quid for a 16 port, 2.5 gig, and that's a PoE one. So guys, what we're saying, right, is that yes, it's extra money with the PoE stuff, but if I'm looking at running stuff like cameras which require PoE, it's worth just having that as a backup, right? So I might as well just buy a PoE switch, because normal Ethernet will run without PoE on a PoE. Is that right? So it's worth spending that extra money to just make sure that I have the PoE switch. Is that right? CJ Bot, thank you very much for the tier 1 for 5 months. I appreciate that. Technic coming in as well with a tier 1 for 23 months. Thank you. It's very kind. If you're using a pair of switches, you should be able to... No, I don't think I have to worry about anything like that. If you're deploying devices, yes, get PoE. Yeah, I'm not even 100% sure that I'm going to be Respawn, and I'm going to put power and Ethernet in those locations, but just in case I ever want to swap things out, it means that I don't have to rip anything out. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to future-proof what I can. So I think I will potentially be deploying devices that are, at minimum, Ethernet. So I think just going PoE will be better, because I want to have the cameras on Ethernet to make sure that it's, pretty robust, I installed 220 meters of Cat 6 in about 10 runs through my house at max end for 35 meters and 10 gig everywhere. I agree with you. Yeah, PoE at a minimum, right? I think. The router I have, JFix, is capable of 2.5, but it's only got one port. It's got one port of 2.5. The rest are one down. And my speeds are pretty hot. I mean, I'm at the moment I'm live streaming to 3 platforms in 2K. I'm live streaming to Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. And I'll do a speed test now. I'll do a speed test right now. I'm live streaming to 3 different platforms. So whilst I am live, I'll confirm this whilst I'm live. My download specifically is 1.1 gig. My download now, whilst live, is 1.1 down. Obviously, it doesn't affect anything because it's the upload, right? It might be tanking a little bit now. I see some drop frames. A couple drop frames. my upload while streaming, the test that ran 77 meg up. So I get 1.1 down and I get 77 up. So in terms of actual internet provider speeds, I'm good. I'm really good. Individual PoE injectors are around 20 each, so a switch with PoE are cost effective. Gotcha. If you need help on it, I was a network engineer for 10 years before moving to programming, so I should be able to. Yeah, I thank you. I appreciate that. I think we'll all kind of put our heads together, but Techno's my guy for a lot of those things as well. Didn't know you played Path of XR. I'll probably beat you at that too. Where's that come from? Did you play PoE, Gibbs? Oh man, that would have been fun to actually have somebody to play PoE with, because I didn't really necessarily know too many people that played it at the time that I did. As soon as you said 1 point, Twitch lagged. Yeah, that's because I was running the speed test. So I was throttling myself, essentially. Other than the cost of a Switch, no reason to not go PoE. Yeah, I agree. Gibbs refused to play PoE. Why did he refuse to play? PoE is a great game. Send you a DM on Discord, 3D module of the garage if you want to do layouts. Thank you, I appreciate that, Tristan. Wow. 3D model? Guys, the next episode is going to be crazy, by the way. Thanks, Tristan. I appreciate that. Oh, because I'm PoE. Oh, I'm saying PoE. I get it. How are you, Gibbs? You okay? Wish I had a good service provider in my area. I have to constantly... Yeah, so does Gibbs. Reset my router every day due to signal dropping randomly. I would never, because of the nature of my work, I would never move to somewhere that didn't have good internet. Couldn't. Did you continue playing it off stream? No, I haven't played PoE in a very, very long time. I loved it. When I played it, I loved it. I thought it was really good. Really, really good. Right, should we get going? Should we start repairing some stuff? It's been a good 37 minutes since I started the stream and no fixing. It's 2 o'clock now. Should we go and have a look? Do you guys want a quick spoiler of the next episode? Of the garage? To be fair, it'll be coming out Saturday. Morning. It'll be coming out Saturday. I have no experience. I may make you mistakes. Have any feedback? Oh.
Yeah. What you got here? You got a bit of wood here?
There's a couple bits of wood out here. These are just scrap ones. Drill it to there, or?
Yeah, we're sticking down, ain't we?
Yeah. Can that be my job?
Yeah. You're probably... Yeah, look. Just stick it. Only a little one. Then there's a little one.
Oh, I've gone for a much bigger one to go through the other wood.
So,
I'm not getting that one out now either. I'll just try and smash this one in. Bounces. How do you stop it from bouncing? You've got to stop it from ricocheting. We just hit it.
hold the hammer at the end.
So you got more leverage.
Yeah, and then you got.
Okay, fine.
That'll be fine. So
this is pretty much 32 minutes of this, guys. Me trying stuff and not being able to do things, you know.
Okay.
Level out all those things. This is probably the biggest episode in terms of how much gets done. I won't reveal too much. But look at this. Look at your boy. Where is it? You get the mixing on the go. Look at this. Boy's mixing.
Just slinging it on.
And then...
Like you say, it's not bad.
Here he is, look. Applying the slurry.
Okay, yeah.
Who's this guy here?
Move on to the feathering in with a brush.
Yeah, so we do get a little bit involved. And then... Have any more? Wait, where's the other bit of me? Here he is. That's all we getting.
Time to tag myself back in.
A Leo don't? All right. I know it's not plastering. It's just slapping the slurry on. First time I've done anything like that, though. So yeah, the next episode is going to be nice. Next episode going to be nice. Principato, thank you very much for the raid. I didn't even see that come through. Welcome. Thank you very much. Hello. How are we? Now you got them boots and trousers. You turn into a jack of all trades, master of no, absolutely. Yeah. Just got in for fixing someone's old school aerial. Entertain me while I eat. I don't know about that. What about WoW? I'm still playing WoW, but I've not played in a good few days properly because I've just not had time. Why so long to release? Because I've got a video coming out Wednesday, a video coming out Saturday, a video coming out next Wednesday, all scheduled. 3D, welcome. How are you? How much did we raise for the garage fund? There was no garage fund. There was a Lee fund on the day that I streamed in the garage, and that managed to rake in. I think it was £240. So that went straight to Lee, which he did not expect, and he was extremely grateful for. Yeah. Off tangent here, but I guess you finally succeeded on the coffee, man. Yo, nice, garbage. Let's go. Well done, mate. How was it? I love the off tangent stuff. Right, I'm going to go and get some stuff to fix because Gibbs says he needs to be entertained. So when Gibbs shouts, I shall respond. Guys, let me just take this downstairs, quickly get some stuff, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, Charlie. Oh, is that in the middle? I think camera's in the middle. Is it just? Maybe it's a little bit off. Charlie may be getting replaced in the new garage, guys. So we need to make the most of Charlie whilst he's here, okay? I don't know. I can't say too much just yet, but just in case nothing happens. But yeah, just to let you know, Charlie could be saying goodbye, so the Charlie law might be changing soon. So make the most of Charlie whilst we can, all right? BRB. Hello. Sorry, guys. I just realised as well, I don't know if Gibbs is still here, but Gibbs said, entertain me. And then I said, yeah, all right, I'll entertain you. And then I just left for 10 minutes. Imagine that. Let's test my audio. Entertain me. And then I said, yeah, all right, I'll entertain you. And then I just left. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Now, I don't know. So I've bought something on eBay. And I don't actually know what it is. I have an inkling, but the size of the box tells me that I just don't know what this actually is.
To the hashtag Save Charlie Fund.
Techno, thank you for the 20. Now listen, there might be there's a potential opportunity for a new chair. So there was an opportunity for a new chair that seems to be in, it's a good amount of money for a chair. And it would do my posterior. Is that what they call it? A posterior? It would do it better. There's an opportunity for me to build the chair on stream, So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you very much, Techno, for the 20. I appreciate you. That's very, very kind. Thank you, my friend. All right. So this that I bought from eBay, I think I know what it is. I've got a little bit of an inkling, but now that I've got the box, I'm thinking that it's not what I thought it was, but I've not ordered anything else. Let me show you the size of this box.
BLR, give Charlie to the cats.
Blur, 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 blur. Guys, why should I give Charlie to the cats? Guys, Techno, what?
I'm unsubscribing.
What? Another 20? Are you okay? What's going on? I talk about potentially replacing Charlie, and now all of a sudden people are coming up with this stuff. What's going on? Right, listen. Thank you very much, Techno, for another £20, by the way. I appreciate you. Look at the size of this box. What on earth is going on? Look. They must have used, whoever wrapped this, must have used an entire roll of packing tape. They must have. Because how am I getting in this? I'm half expecting a person to jump out, if I'm honest. Herman Miller sponsorship? No. That's like, that's a lot. Herman Millers are a lot of money. No, a specific brand reached out. I don't want to say anything too much just in case it doesn't happen. But a specific brand reached out and said, hey, we'd love to supply you with this. All we ask in return is just build the chair on stream. And I was like, yeah? Or, well, no, they didn't even say that, really. Oh, where's my Stanley? Oh, no, it was outside. God knows where that's gone. They didn't even say that. They said an idea for you to incorporate some content for the chair would be to, as an example, build it on stream, Whoop. I've just subbed for 6 months in advance and you're going to take away the... Sorry, guys. Garbage, did I acknowledge that it was a 6 months in advance sub when it came through? I did, right? Please tell me I did. I'm trying to open this now. I don't understand. Did I catch on to that last time when that came through? Oh, this is opened pretty... No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it's open pretty easy because I have no idea what's next, Because it could be wrapped and wrapped and wrapped in a wrap. This person... It looks like they've sent me their entire kitchen waste cupboard. What is going on? What on earth, guys? I can't believe what I'm seeing. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I have to get a picture of this. I'm sorry. Right there. Should I get a thumbnail? Right. What do you know? What I will advise, a friendly bit of advice right now. This was actually purchased off eBay. For anybody who is looking to sell stuff on eBay, please look at more convenient packaging than everything from your kitchen cupboard. Because I said, what did I say? What did I say at the start of this? They used a whole pack. They used a whole roll of tape. You're just sending somebody your junk. This is not. I mean, I guess the question is, would you rather that, or would you rather have a broken item that you've ordered? But I mean, the stuff that I order from eBay is faulty anyway. I don't even know what this is. Here we go. We're about to find out. The thing is, you can make the box smaller and tighten the package. That's what you should do. But you should also maybe potentially look at buying a box that is just fit enough purpose for what it is you're sending. And not all of this. Because I now have to dispose of all of this rubbish. You know? I've never seen anything like this. I've seen some stuff as well. I've never seen anything like this. And that's the size of the item. That's the size of the item. Which by the looks of it is a PS5. But we'll confirm. And it's just, I mean, look, there's just so much stuff in here. I can't be bothered to check if I bought it with a controller or a HDMI cable or anything like that, because I don't want to go rooting through this person's rubbish. I mean, what? That's going straight in the bin. I might do that now. I literally might take this out now. It's clogging up my bins. No point in having that in there. BRB. Hello. Sorry. I actually think somebody went, I haven't got enough room in my bin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just send it all to someone. I mean, pretty genius if that's the case. Better go into the dump. I don't know if it's free postage. I'll check. Yeah, no, devil's advocate. Yeah. But I genuinely believe like something like that. The issue being is that there was still so much room in that box. Like the stuff that was combined, like the way that it was packaged, it wasn't densing it down. Did that make sense? It was more so just laying about in there. So I don't actually think it was giving any extra packaging. Testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Test. Okay. MS Blind, welcome. How are you? I feel like I haven't spoken to you in ages. Now you've taken the headphones off, Charlie. Don't mention you might replace me with you. You said it now. They could have put 2 PS5s in that box. You're not wrong. What was wrong with this PS5? Thing is, I'm not going to be. I don't know which one it's going to be. I want to say this one. Console does not power on at all. I paid £141.78. Wasn't recording, Joey, man. The console doesn't power on at all. No beeps, no lights, nothing. I bought this for £141.78. That's today's laugh. I'm glad I was able to give you a laugh. Even if it's at my expense. That's what I love to do, man. Got day off today. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was going to say, what day are we today? We're Tuesday, right? So how come we got today off? Is it a holiday day? Holiday day? Not a bad price for a box of rubbish. You never know what you might find in there. They've wrapped this like a present as well. They wrapped it like a... It's got different layers, you know. Now I've got to get rid of the bubble wrap as well, I know. And I can't use this for packing because, again, they've used it as layers, so they've cut it all. So we know what the fault is. Yeah, it's no power. Supposedly, anyway. But we all know what that could mean. Could mean anything. Has been opened before, supposedly on the eBay listing as well. I never struggle so much to get a package open, hey? I'm just ravishly cutting at the... I don't even know if ravishly is a word, but I'm just cutting at this now. Danny, welcome. I'm good, thank you. How are you, my friend? Here we go. We are here. Eventually, we got to the bottom of the parcel. All right. Here she is. There we go. A disc edition PS5 as well. Let me double check this is definitely the right listing. Yeah, it was a disc edition PS5. I believe it's this one. Let's see. The model number itself is... It's one of the newer revisions, I'm sure. Oh, no, it's a 1016A. Okay. Is this the same one that I'm thinking? No, it's not. This is a different one. I didn't pay £141 for this one. This is a different one. Which one's this one? 9193. 9193. Here we go. Okay. So I do have the correct PS5. I went for a best offer on this. How much did I pay for this one? Sorry. £145.88. And this is, again, it's a no power, right? Yeah, no power when plugged in. No power. Outside seems good condition. Selling for faults or parts. Okay. So it says that there's no power when plugged in. They've tried another extension lead. What I will say is that it's been open before because we don't have a warranty sticker. So I don't know if that person specifically been inside this console or whether it was somebody else before them, or I don't know what the story is. How's the lighting situation, guys? Are we okay? Let's hope the screws are in the right place. That'll be a good start, wouldn't it? Boom. Let's see if we can give this some power then. Should I check that first? I mean, screw-wise, straight off the bat, all of them seem to be okay. So let me try and plug her in and see what we get. Is it going to be no power, or is it going to be something that's like a beep on, beep off? Don't blow my electrics, please. 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 Okay, no bang. What we love to not see. Let's try and power on. 3, 2, 1. Nothing. Okay, could be good, could be bad. Because it might be something that's really simple, causing this PS5 to have no power. I hope that's the case. It's not going to be something as simple as, you know, the lead. Could be something like potentially not having the ribbon cable connected. I can see a silver screw missing down here. That would, to me, insinuate that the motherboard has actually been taken out of this device before we go into it. Likely a dead PSU. Do you know what? I'm going to say I don't think it will be a dead PSU, purely because of the fact it's been opened before. And if it was a dead PSU, signs would tell me that somebody would have tried that, because it's probably arguably one of the easiest things to replace when you have a dead console like this. It's the first thing you check, right, is a power supply. So if it's been opened before and it's a faulty power supply, I'll be extremely shocked. What? Why does that keep coming out? Wait, is this the T? This is a T9. Where's my T8? For some reason, my T8 sits in there a lot more comfortable. It doesn't come out. So let me put that there. That's better. Peeps, welcome. Well illuminated. Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I see MS blind. Okay. Quiet Tuesday for work. Thought I'd drop in. Ampuled, welcome. Okay, that should be it. Let's just disconnect the disk power cable as well as the fan. Pull this off. Here we go. All right. And a 3. So usually I can tell how bad this is going to be by taking this off. So let's see. Well, we are missing several tens of screws is the terminology that I'll use. So we're missing a lot of screws. Let me take out the disk drive. It's obviously been opened before. Screw here, missing. There's a bunch missing. Looks like UART's been done as well. And there is a tiny bit of flux around the fan connector. So UART has been done because the there's 1, 2, 3, and those bits of solder there are a bit more silver and bright, which means it's been replaced. Okay. So what I need to do is come at this with I'd say some sort of a fresh mind, because I also need to play Chief Inspector on this to see if I can put a story together to know what's happened. So I'm just going to take off the remaining screws that I have, which is a few of the silver ones, because it looks like if somebody's they've put them in positions whereby like it's holding it together. So in my head, immediately, it actually tells me a bit about this person who took this apart before, in the sense that it seems like somebody who knows what they're doing. They've done UART. They've put screws back to just hold the heatsink in, rather than... I know that sounds really silly, but I think that comes from an experience thing. To place it at opposite corners to make sure it doesn't rattle about. So let's put it this way. It'll be an interesting one. Let's take off antennas. I'm just checking this ribbon cable. That ribbon cable seems fine. Unplug that. And I should now be able to lift this off. They've actually done really well in terms of the leaving the stickers on as well. So they're not... This person wasn't boisterous. This person was careful. You could tell by the way that the screws have obviously been put back as well, you know. They knew what they were doing, which is not good for me. Let's see. Okay. First inspections, maybe... Potentially HDMI port has been replaced. If so, that solder looks absolutely immaculate. Like, it looks really, really clean and fresh. I haven't looked at a dead PS5 in a while, I don't think. So I'm just going to test and make sure that we've got our power rails. So I need to check we've got our 12, our 5, our 3, and go from there. It looks like, to me, there's actually been a little bit of fluxy around the Wi-Fi chip now. Can you see? So I've got a bit of a, there's an orange tinge here where the flux has not burnt away the copper. That's not the right term, but it's stained the copper. Can you see that? So there's definitely been flux here, and it could have been because of fan connector. It could have been because of the disk drive power connector, but I think it's because of the Wi-Fi IC, to be honest with you. I think it's because of the Wi-Fi IC. Just go and buy some of the reflections, which to me would indicate that potentially this person previously had a short and kind of knew what they were doing. There is a number 8 there. I don't know why there's a number 8. So I'm just going to check and see what power rails we have. Joe, I have a PS5 launch edition which I sent in for a HDMI replacement, and your man took my USB and destroyed it. So would it even be worth fixing? Your man? What are you talking about? Knight? Okay, here we go. Do we get our 12? We do. Instantly, I'm thinking, so they haven't replaced the power supply with a faulty one. That's good news. Do we get our 5? We do. Do we get our 3? No. No 3. That's why there's no power. We don't get our 3 volt. So that could, in fact, be Wi-Fi. Now, I'm just going to do a little bit of prodding. See what the situation to the nation is. So I got my multimeters in multimeter in continuity mode, and I'm just going to do a little bit of probing now. 16 ohms here. Oh, hold on. 16 is very low. Wait a minute. 189? That's too high. 189 is very high. This is the SSD controller. Now what I should be seeing here is around about 50 or 60 ohms. So if it was to go below 50, I would hear it beep. But I'm meant to see around about that. 187 is really high. So have they done something to the SSD controller? Okay. I'm just probing in a few places. We have a short. Okay, we have a short to ground. On this fuse, the F7002. So F7002 is shorted. We have a weird reading on the SSD controller. I'm just going to probe the back of the south bridge. 900. Is that ground? That's ground. South bridge is potentially okay. All right. At least I have a short straight off the bat. 360 there, I think, is okay. 450 there. 600 there. All right. Let me get the rest of this board out. So I've got a short here on F7002, which is where there's a fuse. So because this fuse has taken some oomph and it's taken some power to the face where it shouldn't have, on one side of the rail has gone bang. It's blown this fuse, which is then... Wait, the fuse might not be blown. Because if there's a short both sides. Can you see this? We a little bit of a weird reading. Right there. So the fuse might be okay, and there could be a short on either of these rails, and what the fuse is doing is carrying the short from one rail to another. So one of my first plays, when I take this apart, I'm obviously going to do a visual inspection on the back of the board as well. I'm going to remove this fuse and see which side is going to be short. But it's good, because we have an area of contention, which we know shouldn't be like that. So we like that. The guy I got to fix it. Sorry, just very Irish. That's okay. So they tried to fix the HDMI port and they messed up the USB port. So they made it worse for you? Is that true? That sounds crazy. So you took it to them to fix it and they broke something else. Oh, wow. Salem Techsperts, big up Andy, recently done a video about PS5 dry spots. This is crazy. Look. I should really change that notification. Shouldn't I? Pollock. Wow, 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 wow. Let's go, baby. Thank you very much. I appreciate the 10 gifted legendary status memberships on YouTube. Pollock, thank you. Coming in with a gifted membership to Wild, Pony, Majin, Dyer, Peter, Brian, Vlad, Law, D1, and Zai. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Legendary. Thank you. That's very, very kind. Let's go. Thank you very much for the 10 gifted. Incredibly kind of you, my friend. Thank you. That message of me saying ouch was perfectly timed. Yeah, it was actually, yeah. So Roy said ouch, and then that happened. This is crazy work. You would say, yeah, somebody said about 40% dry spot. This is exactly that. It's about 40% not being cooled. Now, this has been opened before, but what I can distinctively tell you is that even if this has been opened before, just from experience, you see where you've got like the black carbon coating. It doesn't matter if this has been into before, because I can tell you that's because of the heat buildup and that this has just practically destroyed the APU on this console. This console would have been running so hot. Now, we have a short, so I doubt this is anything to do with our problem. However, because this is such an early revision, not the earliest revision, but because this is such an early revision, it's kind of good that this has fallen over when it has, because at least then we get the chance to sort this out if we manage to fix it, I shall caveat with. But this is really bad. Really bad. Now, what I will say, and I'll try and show you from my experience on how to clean this mess up, right? Because this is not going to be your standard. Liquid metal is hard to change anyway. But what makes it even tougher is when you have these dry spots. Because if I just give this a quick scrub, it's not going to rectify the situation here at all. So we need to clear up all of this liquid metal, and then we need to essentially repaste it like you would with normal thermal paste. So what I'm going to do, I've got isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to pour my isopropyl alcohol on a Q-tip, right? And I'm going to get that, and I'm going to pull it up and just chase it around. And can you see what the IPA actually does? It reacts differently to the liquid metal than not having anything on. And the alcohol will actually shove it around. So then what I do is I continue shoving. I get as much as I can off of the outside. And I push it into the middle of the die. So that kind of gives me a big pool of the liquid metal, a big bubble, right? And I simply just put it here. So I've now got a big pool in the middle of liquid metal. Now, because of the carbon that's probably come off with that and infused with the liquid metal that I have here, I'm not going to use this. So what I would then do is just get another cotton swab. And you have to be super careful when you do this because you can drop liquid metal and it goes everywhere. So I'm just going to roll them together. And then it goes onto this Q-tip. I'm going to take that Q-tip very slowly and put it in the bin. And now I've cleaned up that liquid metal because I don't want to suck that up in the tube and have that contaminating all the other liquid metal because of the carbon coating that we had. So I don't even know if it is carbon coating. I have no idea. I'm just using some made up terminology. Then I'll come back in with another Q-tip, IPA on the end of that. And now I'm going to give this a good scrub because I don't have to worry about liquid metal going everywhere because I've got rid of it. And you'll see in a second that this will look nice and shiny. Now, depending on how bad this has been stained, it can leave black marks, and I'll show you how to get rid of those. Sometimes you can't, but majority of the time you can. And you want to give this as good of a scrub as you possibly can with the IPA. And then, there we go. So can you see how it's like stained? The APU, the top of it, the glass. Now, sometimes what you can do is without IPA now, I'll just come in and give this a nice scrub. Because it's going to be there's going to be a little bit more friction there without pushing too hard. But this is really stained. So now, watch me flip this over. This is without the IPA. So you can see all of this coating that's coming off. You don't want to go too hard here. You don't want to damage the actual APU itself, which would be quite difficult doing this method, but is doable, right? But yeah, you can see. And then if we come back in with some IPA, that's probably as good as what we're going to be able to get. Probably spend a little bit more time on it, but you don't need to. And then what you can do in this situation, after you fix the console, which I have clearly not done yet because I'm still repairing it, but then I would come in with my liquid metal, I'd put a little blob here, and then without IPA, I'll come in with a cotton swab, and I will just make sure it's nice and plush around the whole square. If I can fix this, I'll show you an example of that. But that's how you kind of clean it up without with avoiding it going everywhere, you know, seeping into here, because this is a nice little cushion for the liquid metal to not, you know, seep out everywhere onto the board, but that won't stop it if it has a big bang or anything like that. You know, if the console is dropped, this does nothing because the liquid metal will literally jump out. It'll because it will be squished against the cooler, it will just splurt out and it will go over your main power rail that we have just right next to the APU here, and it can go underneath the APU and all sorts. So whilst this does an okay job of, like, you know, absorbing the liquid metal that potentially jumps up here, if you were to drop your PS5 or if it was to take a big bang, then it's not going to stop it from squirting out all over the place. Does that make sense, chat? I wanted to clear that up because, well, not even clear that up, just give like some extra, because Andy, I don't know if people saw Salem Techsperts, he done a YouTube video about the cleaning solutions and stuff on a PS5. So I wanted to jump on that because I actually left a message saying that he done a really, really good job for his first time doing it. But at the same time, if he was to use IPA on the end of a cotton swab, he'd be able to manipulate the liquid metal a lot easier. So yeah. Anyway, look what I've just noticed with this PS5. A few different chips have been changed on here, guys, and I don't know how this is going to be. This has been changed, I'm pretty sure. Let me put my other lens back on. Give us some more clarity. This chip's been changed. I'm going to check, but there's a lot of flux around it. This is the, I like to call this the Hail Mary. The Hail Mary chip. What do I mean by that? If all else fails, you change this out and you cross your fingers and hope. Why is my dispenser not dispensing? Do I need to really fill it up that whole way? Why? That's for some IPA in there. Lord, glove. There we go. Just have to put some more in. Just seeing if this has been swapped out, because this is no more like a quick fix sort of situation. What I've learned is that you need to investigate previous technicians' work all over before you get involved. Now this looks okay to me, to be honest. This actually looks alright, soldered wise. I don't know if it has been changed, but there was a lot of flux around it. It looks okay to me. Now, that was just one area of contention. Here is another area of contention. This is the HDMI IC. Now there's flux around here, so I would go and hazard a guess that this has also been changed. Looking at those joints though, it actually looks okay. Again, I've mentioned before, this person seemed fairly competent, you know. It looks connected. There is a little bit of flux left over. You can see around the chip, especially at the top just here. There's that little bit of liquid flux. But this does look like it's been sat down correctly and soldered correctly. So props to that person. Well, the HDMI port. It looks like they've potentially used IPA whilst the board has been hot, and that is what that little coating is, but that's a good port. There's nothing wrong with that. Yo! Cad, thank you very much for the Prime for 8 months. I appreciate you. Thank you. So HDMI circuit, I don't think there's going to be any shorts around here, if I'm honest with you. I'll be very, very shocked if there is, because again, I don't think this is going to be that easy. But if I just measure on the caps going into the chip quickly, do we have any shorted components? Nope. Doesn't seem like that. So that seems a-okay. There's a couple of chips around here. Ooh. Whoa. This is why it's so vital to check every aspect. Yo, Chris. Hello, how are you? Did you see they've done the date for leagues? Are you going to be playing? Sag, not Insomnia, unfortunately. Now, this is important. Why is this important? This is important because this chip is not on correctly. Now, what you might notice is that because this chip is sat over here, it goes over what should be, there should be a cap here. But this could have an area underneath, which is then bridging these pads. So for example, this one isn't meant to be bridging with this one, but because of this chip, there is all sorts of potential for that to be happening here. So I'm going to zoom in real quick. Actually, let's have a look at this from like a bird's eye view and see if I can tell that. Can you see how it might be bridging? I mean, I don't think it is. I think we're good. But without this IC, we're definitely not going to get image. I'm not too sure if we get power or not. I'm unaware. But this IC has caused me issues in the past. So what I need to do is make sure that this is on properly. I wonder, can you imagine if I just reflow this and we get our 3 volt? That would be absolutely insane. I doubt that's going to happen because of the state of the rest of the board. But this is why visual inspection is so important. Because if I just followed the... You know I said we had the short on the fuse? If I just followed that short, went straight to that, I would have skipped this whole part. And it could have been detrimental to our potential fix. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure that's on the right way. Because the thing is, if you work on these sorts of devices and you do this line of work, a mistake like this is so easy to make when you're chasing a rabbit hole. No pun intended, guys. Come on. So I'm just going to go 450 degrees Celsius here, 50% airflow, and I will just apply a drop of flux in a second. But I think something tells me this board's going to have a lot of flux anyway, so I'm not going to have to worry about that. Let's see. I'm going to push it north a little bit. Let it hop into place. Well, I don't know what they've used here. Right, we're going to go 480.99. To confirm, that's 480 degrees Celsius, 99% airflow. Is it going to float into place? It's already got flux underneath it, so I'm just reflowing it a little bit. No need for me to add more flux here. Now, I might go for a push down, which I usually don't do, but again, because of the integrity of the chip, I just want to make sure that we are 100% flush and that the solder is connecting. So I'm just going for a light push down here. And I'll come back off. I don't know how vital not having this cap is, so I'm going to add a cap, believe it or not, because it makes sense to me. So I'm just going to use my soldering iron here, and I'm just going to blob. It's already got flux, so that leaded solder should take very nicely and easily, which it did. Now I'm going to get a donor board, the Donair, and I'm going to take the cap from around that area and replace. These are not the best tweezers to do it, because can you see there's a little bit of a bend in the end? Might be alright. Let's see. So we've got a bit of a tombstone going on, so I'm going to remove the hot air, re-grab it with the tweezers, readjust myself. Put it down there, come off. I should be able to just float it in place. Again, it's got a little bit of flux there, so we should be alright. Let me just add a drop more, tiny bit. Is that cap on? Yeah, cap's on. Cool. Suddenly. Whilst the board is nice and hot, we want to give it a nice clean. So give it 2 seconds, let it cool down. Arctic, welcome. Give it 2 seconds. Now we come in with some IPA in my little toothbrush. Whilst it's nice and warm. And the Joey rub with a microfiber cloth. And you'll be like, Joey, nobody even worked in that area. Here we go. Nice. So let's just confirm that that is all attached. soldered onto the pads correctly, because that's what we want. There we go. Look at that. That's on it now. There is a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of thermal putty there. There we go. Look at that. Wicked. Compared to what it was. That chip just was not on at all. So I don't know if that's causing us to miss our no power. Just trying to work out if there's enough solder on that one there. Because it is a separate rail as well. Oh no, it's not. It's the same one. So I was worried then about this one being on a separate rail, but I believe it's on the same path. So it's fine. So if I measure here and here, it's the same. Because then at least I know I've got plenty of solder here, but I also think I've got enough there. All right. Now, before I even go to the place that we saw where there was a short, I'm going to go somewhere else first. Where am I going? I'm going to go to a place I've seen a bunch of flux, which is just here. Why do I have flux here? I'm going to look in this area. We've got the SPV chip, which is a power management chip for, I can't remember what circuit it is, but I'm just going to give that a quick clean. Because it looks like, it doesn't look like it's on, it doesn't look like it's on properly, but again, that could be me and my eyes, you know? It looks like it's lifted a bit. No, that looks okay. That looks all right. But why the flux here? Why the flux here on this cap, hey? And this is not how you go about removing flux, by the way. This is what you do. Introduce heat. Watch this. Look at that. Now it's liquid. You come off. Use your brush with your microfiber. A little bit of IPA. Nice. Bubba Gaming, thank you very much for the Prime for 16 months. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for the support, the continued support. Legendary. Thank you. I'm just going to measure on this cap because why would there be flux around it if you didn't do anything to it, you know? Unless flux has just made its way to the cap itself because you've been working somewhere else. No, see, there's no short there. Cool. A hype train? Guys, thank you very much for the hype train. Hurts to poop. If so, I really advise that you go and seek medical advice. But yeah, I hope that situation you're able to sort. Thank you very much for the Prime. Nonetheless, I appreciate you. Thank you. Very sad about insomnia. Hyped out leagues. Yeah. I'm hyped about leagues as well. It'll be good. I've not done any sailing. Have you done any sailing? Here we go. Look, I'm intrigued because on the back of the Wi-Fi I see, we have flux. So again, let me just have a little bit of a cleanup because I know where I'm at right now. So I'm just going to come in here, introduce some heat. Exactly the same procedure. IPA. Give it a nice clean with the brush. Come in with a microfiber.
Hey.
Lord the glove, what's going on? Guys, what's all this support about? Jeez Louise, thank you. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. AVFC coming in 11 months, nearly 1 year, mate. Thank you very much. Blob, welcome. How are you? Paul, welcome, my friend. How are you? PLD. Probably leaked through playing the Wi-Fi. Maybe, yeah. Maybe. I'm just going to test a couple of these caps because it's very common to have a short on the back of the Wi-Fi IC. But like I said, it looks like the Wi-Fi IC has been replaced. We'll come to that in a sec. Upsy daisy! We've got a short on the back of these caps. That is most probably going to be a bad Wi-Fi IC. Unless, hear me out, the person who replaced the Wi-Fi IC before, because there is flux around the Wi-Fi IC, do you remember me talking about that, right? They've clearly replaced this Wi-Fi IC, you can see. I'm thinking maybe they might have even done this correct. Is that a chunk out of it? They might have done... No, I think that's just shielding, so I don't think it really matters too much. They might have replaced this correctly, but what they didn't do is inject on the back where we have these caps, because it could be one of these capacitors causing our short, not the Wi-Fi chip. However, because I'm here, I'm just going to see how the soldering job is that they've done. Like, did they do a good job with the soldering on the Wi-Fi IC? Because it is pretty imperative that you do, obviously. How flat is this to the board? If it's very flat, it's not good. Well, that looks all right. Hold. Please hold. Please hold. Yeah, you know what? That looks okay. That looks all right. All right. So if that's okay, I mean, there's a chance that obviously there's not, but I'm going to inject on one of those capacitors and it might show me a cap that's gone bad, in which case, imagine the rigmarole of them having to go through what they did, and all it is a little cap that needs changing. Seen it many a time before. So let's get our injection tool ready. I'm going to do 1 volt here. And I'm going to see what we draw. Ready? Nothing there. 500 milliamps. Where's my camera? Where's my heat cam? Concurrent. Joey, is your microscope mounted to your desk in front of you or to the side? It's to the side, and it's not great because it rocks about a lot. Guys, thank you very much for the hype train, by the way. What level are we at? We are at a level 1 hype train. 1 minute 17 on the clock. 93%. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Where's my phone? Where are my keys? Where are my phone? You got a wall mount in the garage? I'm thinking about it. I just need to work out logistics because I'm an idiot. Here we go. So I'm going to inject here, and you should be able to see it on the thermal cam. Okay. If it's a cap, that is. If it's not, then the whole area will get hot because I would suggest very highly that it's going to be the actual Wi-Fi IC. So here we go. 500. I think it's 1 cap, guys. It's not even getting that hot. I think it's 1 cap. I don't believe it. They went through that, all that hassle, all that trouble. Now, this might not be the original fault, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself here, but I think it's this one. So what I'll do is I'll quickly take it off. You could do this by any method necessary. You know, you could, if you wanted to, use hot air. You could, I wouldn't recommend smashing it off, but that is definitely a possibility. I'm just going to use an iron here and scrape it off like that. Which is, you can do if you don't have, if you have replacement donor boards so that you can replace that cap. I wouldn't recommend that because in case this isn't the issue, I'm now going to have to find one on the donor, obviously. Right. Okay. Multimeter back in continuity mode. So if I measure here, previously I had a short. This side is ground, so it will beep. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Wow. Short be gone. Now I'm going to test elsewhere as well and just make sure that we don't have a short anywhere else, which we don't. It was just this cap. So that person before had replaced the Wi-Fi. They went through the trouble of replacing the whole Wi-Fi IC because they didn't use voltage injection on the back to notice that it's going to be this cap here. That's how easy it is to get things wrong, which I have done 17,000 million times. And this is just experience now, I think. You know? There we go. So that's off. Interestingly, I will check to see if our short is gone elsewhere. I will replace this cap really quickly. Because like I said, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. That could be one thing out of 100 that we need to sort when somebody else has been inside the device, you know. So I'm just going to replace that with some leaded. And then again, I'm going to use a cap from a donor board. The exact same one where I just took the other cap from. Because why not? Could the Wi-Fi chip also be broke because of the cap? No, because if that were the case, potentially, yeah. I mean, I'll never say no. But if that were the case, then we'd have a short on the other capacitors. The idea is that the cap goes boom. And then because we don't have any voltage in that circuit, it's not going to do any further damage because it stops the connection essentially because the device just doesn't turn on, right? Let's be careful here. I'm doing this really silly. So what I'd usually recommend is doing it horizontally. But again, I'm just being lazy. And I'm trying to do it in a way that is quicker rather than better. And you definitely shouldn't hold this at either end and put it on like this. But again, I'm a moron, so... Sometimes in this trade, I think you get a little bit lazy, you know? It's important not to. Because it does make your life harder. There we go, that cap's on now. Now, it very well could be, that we have a short here again. I hope not, but we shall see. Give it the old Joey rub, as PLD says. There we go. Okay, let's see if our short is gone, or if it's still there. Or come back, should I say. No. So our short is no longer there, right? So we don't have a short here now. Now, like I said, there's flux everywhere else on the board. Can you see here? Here we have the south bridge. Now, what do you see? Oh, you probably can't, actually. You can't see it like I can. There is streaks of flux down here, which usually means that they've aimed to... You can see on top anyway that there's like little streaks of flux. They've aimed to either replace this or reflow it, which is not good because this makes it extremely difficult. So I'm going to check and see how this has been soldered. What do you guys think? Before I show you, do you think they've attempted to solder it, yes or no? Oh, see you later, Paul. Much love. Have a good one, mate. Reflow, no, yeah. Let's see. Okay. We look good. We look good, in my opinion. Just checking all the sides. If you do have a lot of flux under here, it can cause the crystal to not work. And you can have issues. But this looks all right. Fair enough. I think maybe just potentially a reflow. Because that seems to be nice and clean. In which case, afternoon, loving the stream. Graham, welcome. How are you? What I will do is just give this a little clean and nothing more. You see if there's any flux that comes out. No, there isn't. Cool. That makes me happy. Very happy. So just a nice little clean up around here to get the flux. Remember what I said, the flux streaks? Just to get them out. Because why not at this point, right? Okay. So visually, I've sorted out a lot of the issues that I thought I may have had. I'm just going to quickly clean up as well. There is obviously one area of contention that we have. I'm just going to clear the flux up around the HDMI encoder chip. It's Panasonic one because there was quite a lot of flux build up here. But like I said, I'm just kind of cleaning as I go to make my life easy. Just around here, just get in those gaps and grooves. You kind of get a feel as to how, you know, I don't want to say robust is probably not the right term, but how aggressive you can be when cleaning these things up. You know, you get a feel for it with the more experience that you have. That looks a lot better. Okay. So our main area of contention where we had our short was on that fuse, wasn't it, if you remember? So it was F7002. So we have F7002. I'm going to go under the scope now. Let's have a butcher's. Here. What work's been done? Let's investigate, shall we? So again, multimeter, continuity mode. Checking this side. No short. This side? No short. Ah, okay. Well, that's a result. Because I fixed the short that we had. And do you remember that I said, yeah, this fuse has a continuous path? So actually, we didn't have a bad fuse. Which I think is what I was alluding to when I was talking about that anyway. But more so, I think because we had the short on the back of the Wi-Fi chip, that was what was causing our short here. So technically, we should be good to test now. Wow. That's why sometimes it can be quite nice to purchase these sorts of PS5s. Because you learn a lot, you get good practice in. And if you're able to fix other people's mistakes, it's a real good feeling. Real good feeling. Remember what I talked about earlier with the oxidization? It's exactly the same here. So it's replicated. So what I'm going to do is IPA. Soak all of this up. Push it all into the middle, remember? Push it all into the middle of the die. Just like that. Wait. Now, this one actually looks relatively clean, the liquid metal on here. So I'm just going to push this over to the corner and give it a nice clean. On the die, that is. There we go. Now I'll come in with the side that isn't IPA'd up. And I'm just giving the die again on the heatsink a nice clean. And what we're looking for is we're looking for the liquid metal to spread proper. I don't see why this PS5 wouldn't work now because we've alleviated that short. And now I'll take a little bit of IPA again and I'll scoop this into the middle of the die. Blow it. Make sure it dries out. And then I'll spread this. Now it can be quite hard to spread, especially when you've just used IPA, but once it dries out properly, you should be able to get a nice good spread. Just like that. Nice even spread. Lovely jubbly. Now I said I'd show you on here tonight as a demonstration. Here is a die that I prepared earlier. Here is our liquid metal. Probably like pea size, like about that. Not even pea size. And then rub this in. Just give it a little gentle nudge left to right. And then try and push it to all corners of the die. Circular motion. I guess kind of whatever motion. And that's it. Bosh. And then we can close this bad boy up and see if it works. Let's do a prediction, shall we? Not done one in a while. Will it be fixed? Prediction over on the Twitch. Go and have a vote. Is there going to be an underlying issue? That's the question, isn't it? Okay. Power in. Multimeter of truth. Show us what we've got. DC voltage. Do we have our 12? Aye, aye, Captain. Do we have our 5? Aye, aye, Captain. Do we have our 3? I'm going to wait because the prediction has not finished yet. Oh, it's a bit tongue tied. It's a bit 500k on yes, 123k on no. I like it. I like it. I like it. Garbage went 200k. You went 200k. Oh my god. Who put the most? Garbage with 200k. It's 27 voters on yes. It's an 80-20 split. Dino went with a big one on no. Okay. Do we have our 3? We don't have our 3. Crabber coming in with the prime. Thank you, Crabber. Yeah, we don't have our 3. Got our 5 here. 5 here. Interesting. So that is indeed not fixed. Nope. GG to that person, by the way. He said no. Yeah, Dino about to make bank. So we don't have our 3.3. So there's clearly something else still wrong. Could be anything. Now, I need to take this back out and look for either shorts or I can inject on the 3.3 volt rail and see what's going on. I do need to make sure that there's not going to be a short back on the back of this chip because all I've done, I haven't pressed the power button, so I haven't instructed the machine to have power, but I did plug in the 12 volts. Well, technically 220 and then, you know. Okay, let's take it back apart. Had to play the odds, nothing to do. Yeah, of course, yeah. That's fair enough. Nick, welcome, how are you? I think it might have something to do with the HDMI circuit, is my guess. It could be that chip that wasn't on properly that was damaged. And you can see that, look at the liquid metal, where it's squished together and pulled. It's good. Clean up and reflow that IC. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the actual IC itself is fine. I think what it's potentially going to be is a blown chip, you know. I'm just going to have a quick scan around the board to see if there's any shorts in known locations. And then if not, I'm going to inject on that 3.3 volt rail and see if anything lights up like a Christmas tree. Wait, let me see if it is actually shorted. That's a very good point. Is the 3.3 shorted? Ready? No, it's not. So the 3.3 is not shorted, which makes it increasingly difficult to locate exactly what's going wrong where. So I'm just going to do a little bit of prodding. I doubt we're going to find a short. Back at the South Bridge was okay, wasn't it? 700 ohms, 800 ohms are we looking at? That's what I should be seeing right here. I should be seeing 700 to 800 ohms. Get an open line, which is a little bit worrying. Even in continuity mode. Why am I not getting that 700 to 800 ohm? It's 1,000. Because it could just be open, couldn't it? Okay. Good news is that the Wi-Fi IC is not faulty. Just checking the fuses. That's 5 volts there anyway. Fuses on the back seem to be okay. Could be the Infineon chip, which they changed and maybe they didn't put on correctly or something. Around that chip that I was talking about seems to be okay. Okay. Let me just, I'm going to inject a volt into here on the 3.3 volt rail and just see what happens. See if I pull anything. Nothing. At 1.5, I get 117. Let me just see if that gives me anything. .5, so maybe some sort of partial short, because I'm sure the rail wouldn't work unless it was 3.3. So if at 1.5 I'm getting 100 milliamps, that's a bit strange. Because it's going to be before this circuit, right? I wonder if it's the power management IC. What's that? Hold on. You're getting a little bit warm, hey? I see you. I see you. Did I see you? Starting to doubt myself now. Yeah, a little bit. I'm pretty sure this chip is before in the circuit, which would make sense as to why we're not getting R3. But there's no shorts around, as we know, which is tough. So it could just be replacing this chip. This isn't a garage. It's not a garage, you're right. Hey, Ben, welcome. How are you? All time, working on the Xbox One mod chip. Nice, my guy. How are you today? That's normal C analog chips, low voltage. And how are you? Recently got into soldering. Since I run a repair business here in Sweden, thought I'd expand, make a video on how to troubleshoot it. Do exclamation marks school, Blazer. There's a good video on there, my friend. Exclamation mark school, SKOOL. Three voltage generated by DA9065. Wait, is that the Infineon? Which one's that, Ben? Because I thought it went from 5 to 3 here. Hey, that looks like it's been soldered, hey. That looks like it's been soldered. Yeah, it could be our issue. Yeah, it's out of position. It's out of position. Did they replace every single IC? Potentially. Yeah, it's massively out of position. Look at that. Solder's hanging on for dear life. Okay. I'm not going to mess around with this one, by the way. I'm actually going to swap it out and see if we get R3 then. That's a 5 volt power on rail butt controller. I thought this was converter. I'm sure this was converter from a video that I saw. I thought this is 5 to 3. RMS, welcome, buddy. How are you? I'm sure this is 5 to 3. Can somebody look up the chip? This chip does look like it's got a hole in it. So I'm going to straight up replace this. Because maybe they worked out themselves that they weren't getting the 3. And they thought that's where they would look. Give this a nice clean up, bit of flux. I need to reposition. I was just getting that off first. Cool. Generates a 5 volt. Oh, okay, fine. Well, it was really out of position and it looked like I had a hole in it. So I think I'm glad I replaced it regardless. Because it was hanging on for dear life. There we go. That's better. Definitely sold it now. Okay, cool. Which one were you saying, by the way? Ben? DA what? This is a Tomlov scope, exclamation mark microscope in the chat, and that'll take you to an affiliation page where you can purchase this if you do so wish to. DA 9065. Is that on the chip? Is that marking on the chip? Are you talking about one of the dialogue ICs? DA9065. Here we go. This is what Ben was talking about. Yeah, I know it as, I think there's a couple of names for them. You've got the DA9065. I've not worked on these for a while, so apologies. And then on the newer boards are the RT chips, right? So that's why I think I had a little bit of confusion there. Because they're known as something else on the newer boards. Dream, welcome. How are you? Smashing microscope. I love it. There we go. From Retro himself. Says that he thoroughly enjoys this one. I'm just giving this a quick bit of hot air and flux. Sorry, an IPA just to clean off the flux. Does that look in position? Ah, it's not bad. Yeah, that's fine. 10 and 11. What should I get in diode mode, Ben? Do you know? Are you saying that I should just get something? Ben's saying we should check 10 and 11 on here. DC voltage mode. I'm going to have to put my other probes in. 10, 11. Did you say 10 and 11? Yeah, 10 and 11. Let me just check here. 0.34. 0.30. I get readings, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get actual voltage, because that would then. What's the where's the input? What pins are the input and output, Ben? And will I get it on standby? I just have to solder some things up. That's why I'm asking. To be fair, I could just get one. Let me take that out. It's about to get messy, chat. It's about to get messy. That's the input. 1011 is in standby. What's the output? Well, I've got 12 going in. Ben, that's 5, not 3. That's 0. As long as we're on the right pins. So one, I'm talking 1 here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you said. 10 is 5. 11 is 0. Ten and 11 are 5 volt out. Are they not 13 and 14 are 3.3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have nothing here and here. TLV 2090R GTR. What on earth is TV? What is that? Ben, what chip is that? TLV 620? Above SSD. Power management IC. On the other side, no? This one? Or this one? This is the one that I said was getting hot when I injected earlier. This is the one that was getting hot. When I say hot, it was warmer than anything else. Have you played any Ark recently? I haven't. I haven't played Ark, no. I've been playing WoW and Pizza Slice. Exclamation mark gaming in the chat to subscribe to the old gaming channel if you want to watch me play some games. HD, welcome, buddy. How are you? Welcome. So where's the input for this one, Ben? Sloth, welcome, buddy. How are you? Where's the input for this? Can't wait to see your next garage vid. It should be out Saturday. I've done a little bit of a preview at the start of this stream. Top side the cap. Here. Yeah, I get 5. And where's the out? Oh, I can't. I'm not going to be able to see the out on this. I'm sure that this isn't standby, is it? Moving, welcome. How are you? I'm sure this isn't standby. I'm sure we need power on for this. I get the 5 in, but I don't get anything out. I don't think. Standby, bottom left at 1.95 out. So I'm not getting anything here, so we're saying that this chip is faulty. I don't think this is standby, this part, is it? Oh, bless me. Let me check something. Pin 13. Assuming here is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that a 5? No. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I get nothing here. Nothing in standby on this resistor, which is where 13 goes to. Bless you, thank you guys. So we think this chip is gone. Well, I say we. Ben thinks, Craft Ben Mine, obviously shout out Ben all the time, thinks that this chip is gone. Let's replace it. Let's see what the sitch is. I could have swore that it was that chip that I said at the start was the 5. Well, I say the start, maybe 10 minutes ago or so, however long ago it was. I could have swore that was the 5 to the 3. Enable is pulled up. Enable is pulled up to 5 volts, but Southbridge can pull it low through PSW ever. Okay. So are you saying that it could be a bad Southbridge, or are you saying it is this chip, Ben? It still could be either, is what you're saying. Any way to know without taking this chip off and replacing it, whether it's going to be this chip or the south bridge? Or do we have to just try and replace this and see if that works? If not, it defaults to south bridge. Let's just replace this. Like I said, this chip was getting warm when I injected on the 3.3. What temp do I use hot air? 480 degrees Celsius on PS5s. I should caveat and say for majority of things. There we go. Let me check the enable on this now. And see what we get in standby. Wait for it to call for a sec. Your videos help me sleep. Thanks, M. I appreciate that. Here we go. There we go. 1.98. This chip was bad. Yep. This chip was bad. Okay. With that being said, let me see if I got our 3.3 volt now. There we go. We got our 3.3. So technically, right, this should work now that we have our voltages, but anything can happen when you work on consoles. Anything. So I'll do another prediction and we'll see if this is going to work or not. Now we'll have... Yeah, that's the thing, Ben. You're 100% right. Naturally, what I would have done is... So, what I'll say there is that Ben's way of looking at things is so much more practical than mine. So much more practical, right? But I was literally going to swap out that chip based on the fact that it was showing a little bit of heat when I was injecting on the 3.3 volt rail. So I would have got there a lot quicker, but Ben's method of doing it is a lot better. If that's it, saying that. Let me put it that way. Ben's method is so much cleaner and is the right way to do things. Whereas the JDT method would get you there quicker, but not help you understand what the actual fault was. You know? Let's do another prediction. I'm going to do it 1 minute, okay? Actually, no, 30 seconds. Here we go. This one's going to be a 30-second one. So if you want to partake and try and get some money back, I will feel very sorry for people if they vote here and say yes and there's still no power, even though we have now all of our rails. Now fixed, by the way, means turns on and works, okay? So if it's a beep on, beep off, that means that it's not fixed, etc., etc. I'm all in again. Let's see what people are doing now, hey? Wow. Wow. Wait. 76% of people are saying no, there's something else wrong with this? Really? 76? Whereas 24% of people are saying yes. Only 24%. I'm shocked. Right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. It's beep. No power. Oh man, is there anybody who's got it wrong twice in a row? Oh. Okay, so now we have a beep. I didn't have a beep before, so we have the 3 volt connected up, but there's something else wrong with this console. Which, by the way, might be the original issue. It might be the original issue. At least UART can help now. That was very true. Yeah, we can hook UART up to see what's going on, hey? Okay. I have curiosity. I want to see what I'm getting from a boot perspective. So I'm just going to quickly hold this on here and just see what I'm getting. $77 milliamps. 77 milliamps. I'm pretty sure that's an SSD controller. I don't think that's South. Oh no, so SSD controller is about 108. Is it 180 or 200? No, I think SSD controller is 270. 77. What's 77 milliamps? I wasn't able to measure on the Southbridge properly earlier, so I do wonder it is Southbridge. I reckon it's going to be one of the bigger chips, though. 77 milliamps, I think, is going to be one of the bigger chips, in my opinion. Failing at that boot sequence. I don't think it's BIOS. BIOS, it would fall over a lot quicker. Aye. Okay. We could UART, but I don't think UART's going to tell me much, to be honest. I'm really just trying to think. I'm really trying to think. 77 milliamps. 77 milliamps. I thought SSD controller is going to be higher. I thought SSD controllers later on in the boot sequence. I think it could be Southbridge. I think 77 Southbridge. When injecting, disconnect PS5 power supply. Oh yeah, you're right. You are right. Yeah, definitely best practice to do that. I had it disconnected from mains, but the power supply was still attached. That's my bad. I think I'm still going to get the same result. It's just best practice to not do that. Yeah, 77 milliamps. I wonder if anything's getting hot. Or should I say not getting hot? I want to see if anything looks like it's initializing. Southbridge usually lower? I don't know. I thought, because the thing is though, Southbridge is usually lower. SSD controller is usually higher. You know what I mean? I'm sure of it. Southbridge is getting a bit of a warm spot, but it could be it could be because the SSD controller is not initializing. Look. Wait, is that a heat spot in one specific area? Wait there. That might be a heat spot in one specific area on the Southbridge. 2 secs. I've just put the macro lens on to see if it's like a specific area, because if it is, it's more likely Southbridge. Adrian, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Instant 77? Yeah. Instant 77. I'm thinking Southbridge, guys. Because the SSD controller is not even enabling, from what I can tell. Yeah, it's not even getting there. I think it's Southbridge. Look. Can you see that? I know Southbridge is meant to get warm. But it looks like it's heating up from one specific point on the Southbridge. Yeah, I think it's doing it on the corner. I agree. Yeah, I think it's Southbridge. Yeah, I think Southbridge. So I think that is potentially where our issue was this whole time. I mean, what's the chances that you could have had a bad Wi-Fi cap as well as the fact of a bad Southbridge? They're all connected, right? So it could just be a plethora of faults, but I feel like maybe the previous tech who worked on this made a complete meal of it, you know? I will just... I was going to check on the back. Just in case there's a cap. I've seen that before. I've seen a bad cap on the back of the Southbridge, so I'm going to turn my injection back on. I'm just going to check. It looked like the heat was being produced from the Southbridge chip itself rather than the back, but I'd rather check now than not. Because if I go ahead and replace it and still have an issue, I won't be happy with myself. Yeah, it's the other side. It's the other side. So it's the actual chip. Might not even be Southbridge. I'm going to try and confirm as best I can before I go ahead and remove it, to be honest. Do you remember I said earlier I wasn't getting 1,000 ohms on these inductors? 1,000 ohms is, 700 ohms is what I'd usually get on these inductors. That's why I'm more prone to thinking that it is Southbridge. Usually I'd get 1,000 ohms on these inductors. I'm not getting that. I'm getting open, which I just don't think is right. But if I go down to the SSD controller, 88 ohms, that's fine now. I think 88 ohms is fine on this area. So I think it's Southbridge. My logic is going to be Southbridge. The only reason I'm saying it is because usually I get 700 ohms on one of the inductors or multiple inductors. I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that. So I think it is a bad Southbridge based on that logic and that logic alone. So I'm going to remove it and we're going to do some operating on the Southbridge. Not done a Southbridge in a while, eh? Do we have a Southbridge to straight swap? That is the question on everybody's lips, isn't it? And am I going to have to reball one or not? Don't take me long now, but still be nice to have one prepped, you know? Tell you what, though, we have been on a journey with this, haven't we? Hey? We don't always do easy repairs. To be fair, we don't do repairs at all, apparently. Hey? Which one's this? No, I don't know. This is a newer Southbridge or whether 61 GG. Nice. Pre-balled, look at that. It was almost like it was meant to be. Shouldn't take us too long then in that case. Right, make the board nice and warm. Let's get ready to rumble. So I'm just putting in some heat into the board real quick. Just on the surrounding area. I'm 480 degrees, 99% airflow right now. I can see some flux coming out now, actually. Ah, that's a lot of flux. Well, should we just go for a reball then? Sorry, a reflow. Let me just go for a quick reflow. Let me go for a quick reflow. There's a lot of flux under here. I'm just intrigued to actually, nah, do you know what? Nah, I'm not going to risk it. Thing is, because if I do that and then decide to leave it because it's working, it might just be because I made the Southbridge hot. Because it could be so temperamental. So I'm just going to take off. Okay. Southbridge off. Flux on. That Mr. Miyagi. Was it Mr. Miyagi? Flux on, flux off. Fume extractor is a must right now. Health is wealth. Just applying some leaded solder. Make our lives easier when we come to wick, which is going to be now. Quick clean up. Reintroduce some heat here. Perfect. Little bit of flux. Cotton swab. Come in with our new south bridge. Position that properly. Which is just about there. Bring temp down to 450. I'm still going to go 99% airflow. And reflow it in place. Here we go. I didn't see if it moved, so I'm just going to quickly try and tap very, very carefully. Yep, definitely soldered. I didn't see it move in place, that's why I tapped it. Usually I don't tap it, but I try and use as little flux as possible as well, because if you get flux underneath these chips, sometimes they do not work. Welcome, Blake, how are you? What headset do I use? I use a Razer Black Shark V2 Pro 2023 edition. If you do exclamation mark tools, if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, there'll be an affiliate link on Amazon to take you to the exact one, because there is a couple of different model variants. And now I'm going to give it a quick clean. There's not much to clean, because I didn't use that much flux. But we'll make the chip look nice and fresh. There we go. Now I want to see if my logic has applied on the back. I need to know if I get 700 ohms on some of these inductors. Like I said, if I do, I believe it's fixed. If not, I'll be as keen to say that I think that there's something else that is an issue. Ready? And these were the ones that I was measuring at before, where I didn't get 700. I was getting like over 1,000. Specifically, open circuit. All right, here we go. Multimeter continuity mode. What do we get? Let's measure here. Whoa, 857, exactly. 735, there we go. Wow. Measure here. 740. Wow, okay, so a good indicator here. 700. A good indicator that you have a bad south bridge is not if you have a short around here, but if you have a reading that is over open line. So on my multimeter, I think it's over 1100 ohms or 1000 ohms. It will say open line, which is a big difference between 700 and 1100. So if it's above that 1100 where it says open line, say for example like this, like it would now, then on this inductor you might potentially have a south bridge issue. I'm not going to say all the time because it could be linked to another rail, but there we go. Can you see that 800? It is rising. But I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's do another prediction. Is it going to work now? Will it be fixed? Yes or no? 30 seconds. Let's go. I feel really bad if somebody loses 3 times in a row. I'll be honest. I mean, it could not work again. It could not work again, guys. Witness me lose 3 times in a row. Hopefully not. Don't put yourself down like that, Mira. Here we go. Was it a bad South Bridge as well as a bunch of other things? Can I get a 3, 2, 1 chat? Three, 2, 1. Who bet what? 16% of people said no. Only 16 people are about to get paid out 103,000. Lord, who put 50k on yes? Gee, man. Just beat Bomb, beat Boff still. I want to see if it's the same boot sequence. Should I check if it's the same boot sequence? Because if I check if I check and it's still 77, wasn't Southbridge. If I check and it's not 77, it's then something else. I can you up. But then I have to take it out to quickly inject, don't I? I am intrigued to see if that is the case. So let me just quickly hover it off the board. Let me hover it out the chassis and inject quickly. Because I want to see if Southbridge was at fault there or not. Let me tell you if I get the same boot sequence, yes or no. Yeah, I do. 70. Chances of that being the same issue with the South Bridge is pretty slim. I mean, it could be that I picked a faulty South Bridge. Entirely doable, but I don't think so. There's 3 things that are on my mind right now. Wi-Fi, because it's been changed before. And I don't know what the status of that is going to be like underneath, and obviously that connects to Southbridge. Or SSD controller. Those are the 2 chips that I've got swirling around in my head now. I'd be more inclined to say SSD controller, but I don't know. Now change the HDMI encoder. Maybe. Where's my UART? Severe wedgie. I've not used this in ages. I don't even know how to use it anymore. I think it's black, yellow, blue. And the only reason I remember that is because black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. You know what it is. I used to sing that, so I'm assuming black. Yellow. Blue. Can't even remember what the tool is. PS5 Wii tool. There we go. Oh, I do have a USB-C. I almost panicked and went, oh, I have a USB-C, but that's for the PLD. Yeah. Right. Christ knows which one it is. Let me just take it out and... It was 5. So it's COM port. Oh wait, 5, 6, 18, 19. 5, 6, 18. Ah, so it's COM port 4, so it's number 1. Right. Control E. Let's see, shall we? Or what do you be? Error log 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm getting a bunch of generic stuff. But let me turn this off. UART. UART codes. Yeah, it's a general power failure for that one. Unexpected loss. Okay, fine. So... That's clear. Actually, let me just copy that just in case. Just in case Ben likes these codes. Error log clear. Right, turn her on. Okay, so error log 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Five. Okay, wait. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah. They're all general power failures. They're all general power failures. That's not good. So they basically, UART is telling me, so I take that code, I type it into Phil's database, uartcodes.com. Big shout out to Phil the Coder, YouTuber. And it's telling me that it's a generic power failure. But the only thing that's holding me back here is that it's booting to 77 milliamps. If it was just generic power failure and I wasn't getting that boot sequence of 77 milliamps, I'd probably hang it up. But the fact that I've got 77 milliamps gives me a little bit more hope. I mean, it's not a bad point, Tristan, to say try a different power supply. What I will do, before I overcomplicate things, I think that's a great shout, first off. But I would just disconnect the board here. and I'll run it off my power supply because it should boot up to I'm an idiot. And I've got to try and get that back in. It should boot up to 300 before not being able to turn on. Should do. I thought I'd keep that in because then I can use the power button, but I mean it's very, very close to be able to not do that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sure I had a PS5 power button just for ease. Didn't I? I'm sure I had like a PS5 power button that I started to use. PS5 parts. Didn't I? Didn't I, Joey? Didn't you? Because that would have been a good thing and a good idea. Right now, anyway. Maybe I didn't. I didn't put it in the Xbox one, did I? Surely wouldn't have done that. I did. I did. I mean, I'm angry at myself, but I'm also not angry at myself because I found it. So there's that. Just makes life easier than having to short resistors and stuff. You can just literally plug this in. Try and give it some power. Oh, but it's showing 77 milliamps on the power supply. That's how I know it's 77, isn't it? So this is kind of redundant. It's kind of redundant in that sense, no? Because I'm getting 77 from the power supply. Ignore me. This could be stupid. I'll try it because why not? Yeah, 70. Still getting 70. Yeah, 70. 70 milliamps, man. Beep sounds healthier, but I think it's because that's the chassis. That's why it sounds healthy. $145 here seems really low, no? It's climbing. Izzy, welcome. How are you? Ah, nice. You got a new thermal cam. Which one did you get? It's open line now. $435 on the back of the SSD controller there. 80 on the back of the SSD controller there, which is normal. No shorts on the back of the SD controller. 353. That's not getting warm, is it? That chip. Hi, bye. See you later. Yeah, there's a lot of cables going on right now. That chip's not getting hot, is it? No. Saffron's getting warm again. I've not incurred any new shorts, have I? The RT chip down here does get a little bit toasty, but again, so does the South Bridge. I've changed the South Bridge. I thought that it was going to be because we didn't get the resistance on those inductors. Yeah, that RT chip gets a bit toasty on the corner. South Bridge lighting up the exact same way it did previously. So is this RT chip, 77 milliamps. Hi Joe, put in my name for the Switch giveaway. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, let's go. Well done, RT. Yeah, sorry it took so long to get round to. Have you replied to my message on Discord, yeah? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be the RT. Replied already. Nice one. Thanks, RT. I don't think it's going to be the RT, but that is obviously a smaller chip to change than what the SSD controller would be. I think the Wi-Fi is okay, but can't tell for certain. This is an annoying one. I'll try quickly change out the RT because why not? 77 milliamps. 77 milliamps. 77 milliampies. RT, aka dialogue on the older revisions. Let's go change Arenio. This is just a quicker option. There is no logic behind this. A lot of the work I do is no logic. It's just convenience, I guess. That Southbridge is also okay, so I need to bag that up, ready for a rebuild at some point. RT, thank you very much for the Prime for 11 months. I appreciate it. Thank you. You got another one?
Content, Joey. Appreciate you're not afraid to jump
Yo.
out and you're honest when things don't go as planned.
Thank you. That's very kind. Coming in with a $10 sushi. Thank you very much, my friend. That's much appreciated. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. It's very kind. Thank you. Whoa! Hate it when it does that. Wait for it to solidify a sec. I'll push down on it now. Again, I don't think this is going to make a difference, but hey ho. We're trying to repair a PS5. Okay, I'm just going to try the boot sequence quick. And see if we still get 77, because if we still get 77, exactly the same. Exactly the same. 77. I think only logical thing now, and I say logical, it's not logical in any way, shape or form. I'm thinking it's time to change the SSD controller. 77 milliamps for me would have indicated South Bridge. BIOS, I think 77 is way too late for that. I think it's way too late for the in the boot sequence for the BIOS to be 77. I'm sure I had something like this before. And I can't remember for the life of me what it was. I'm sure I had something like this. I'm really trying to think. 77. Zofa, welcome. Heard a lot of things without using a thermal camera, but really good to have one. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. If you can afford it, it's definitely worth it, in my opinion. Just checking something. No, it's definitely not there, is it? Could it be in docs? Google Sheets. I used to have a console workbook, and on a couple of occasions I did open it and add to it. And I'm just trying to find where it is, because that would really help right now. You know what I mean? I don't think I have it. PS5. No. Worth a check. Let me check another spreadsheet that I got. That can't be it. Is that it, really? Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't know where that's gone. Where would that have gone? You can tell by my face that I'm really trying to concentrate, hey? It's got to be here somewhere, man. It has to be. I remember specifically, I had it. It's not here, guys. Could it be that resoldered converter chip? What, the one next to the HDMI circuit? Sloppy Bobby. Been watching your YouTube videos for the last couple of weeks. Finally caught a stream. Welcome. Yeah, sorry, I was deep in thought. Check my last post. PS5. There's no short. No, maybe self-reach symptoms by triggering a system after the first beep. F7501. I don't think it's anything like that, man. I wish it were going to be that simple. There's no short. There's no short actively that I can find on the board. And the thing is as well, that 77 milliamp draw, if there was a shorted capacitor or something singling it out, it would most probably have shown itself. And it's not done that. The only thing that's getting hot is the south bridge. So I feel like there's a problem in the boot sequence, and that's why I'm now thinking SSD controller, in the sense that the south bridge is trying to do its job and then it's falling over at the SSD controller. That's the only other reasonable thing that I can think of. Or the Wi-Fi chip that had been replaced. Or the Wi-Fi chip. But we rectified the short with the cap that was on the back of the Wi-Fi IC. So that's what kind of makes me think that it's not the Wi-Fi chip. But they have soldered it, so I don't know if they've potentially soldered it incorrectly and it's not indicative of a short. It's a really tough one. I feel like that's just a really generic piece of Google advice from a forum that hasn't looked into boot sequences, etc. F7501, I've got the fuse is fine, and I don't have any shorts in that area. Wi-Fi's been touched, yeah. My bad if I own instead of 77 milliamp. Has no power, no display, no lights. Just indicates the standby power supply is working, but the console's failing to initiate. Yeah. Which could be relating to the SSD controller after the fact that it's got in that standby. Hey Joey, had to do. You bought a PS5 Slim faulty, but it's under warranty, so it's off to Sony tomorrow. You bought a PS5 Slim and it's under warranty. A faulty one, yeah, get it sent off to Sony, man. That's all it. Always a Wi-Fi chip. A joke on Nate's channel. Yeah, I think I've had enough of this one today, guys. I think we can agree. It's coming up to my finishing time anyway, and I spent a long time on this one. One in the chat if you would like me to continue this on, maybe tomorrow. One in the chat if that's what you'd like. Would you like that? If I do a live stream tomorrow, would you guys be up for watching this? And I'll just continue. Because again, if I'm putting this in a video, I want to get it wrapped up, you know. I've still got SSD controller and I've still got Wi-Fi chip before I call it quits. Are you taking on repairs from viewers? I'm not. I buy faulty devices from viewers, but I don't take on repairs. I need to bet more points. I'm back. Does it react to power button? We get a 77 milliamp hour draw. 77 milliamp draw. Ben, we get 77 milliamps. I've changed the south bridge, and I think 77 milliamp. The only other thing that I've got to check is SSD controller, because otherwise I'll be chasing tails. That's where I'm at, Ben. But I'm seeing the south bridge get hot. That's why I'm then thinking the next thing in that sequence is the SSD controller, because I'm pretty sure it's south bridge SSD controller. $77 milliamps. Ben, what do you think? Won't bother me watching you 24/7 fixing stuff. Lovely jubbly. Guys, I'm going to be going to DreamHack, by the way. You can use code JoeyDoesTech for 10% off if you're interested in going to DreamHack. I'll be going on the Saturday. Code JoeyDoesTech. There's no affiliate or anything like that. If you want to be there and say hello, please feel free to buy yourself a ticket. Well, that didn't work, did it? Let me do this one instead. DreamHack Birmingham. I'll be there on the Saturday. Code JoeyDoesTech for 10% off. DA9065 voltages, 1.15, 3.3, 1.8, 1.5. The second 3.3 rail. Is the 1.1 rail there? Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to put it in standby and have a look. But I don't know if those voltages are in standby or not. But I've got the power button hooked up to this now, so I can resume there from tomorrow. Look. I can resume there from tomorrow. Do you do courses, by the way? I'm not sure if you mentioned you did, or if I confused you with someone else. I do. Yeah, I do have courses, but they're learning the Joey way. Exclamation mark school. I do have courses. They're kind of specific though. There's a good learning one there about multimeters and stuff, I think. But if you do exclamation mark school SKOOL, that will get you started. Bet you got 3 people to accept now. So yeah, all right. I feel like we'll pick this up maybe again tomorrow, and we'll check the. We'll go with what Ben said. Ben, DA9065, is that the chip that we've already checked today? Or is that for the is that the power management IC for the SSD controller? Yeah. Sorry, I need to sneeze. Which one's the DA96? What is it? DA9065. Oh, they swapped one of these, by the way, because there's an RT chip on the back. That is the one, I think. DO965. DO965. I'm going to... Oh, right in there thingy. DA9065 voltages. Ben, did anything come back off of that UART code? Oh, yeah. Exclamation mark Discord as well, guys. Yeah, good shout. Thanks, Bodge. Bless you. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I thought so, Ben. Wait, Ben. Yeah, I haven't got PS5 schematics, by the way. Ben, I'll speak to you on Discord. All right. Guys, thank you very much. Did you enjoy today's stream? 1 in the chat if you did enjoy today's stream. Give me a fat 1. Excuse me. Hiccups now. I need to tidy my stuff up, that is for sure. Let me tidy it all up. That south bridge is good. A little spinny thing. Spinny McBob. Spinny McBobber. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in and just hanging with me, chilling with me, all those good things. I appreciate you. Thank you for today's support as well, by the way. The few gifted that we got, I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, as always. And you guys are the reason why I'm able to continue doing this full time. Able to support my family, able to learn, do what I love. So thank you. I appreciate you. Every single one of you. Every single person who makes this JDT community a community, which is a lot of people. I can't solely thank 1 or 10 people. I have to thank you as a whole. Guys, have a good one. I'm going to go and have some food, some dinner, lots of cheese on my bolognese. That is for sure. I'm going to treat myself to a bit of cheese today. Yeah, when am I next live? Probably on, probably tomorrow to try and get the video wrapped up on this PS5. And I can't leave you guys hanging like that. So I'll probably go live tomorrow with this PS5 and just see if we can, I'll replace the SSD controller, maybe do a couple of checks on, supposedly there's, you know, things that we haven't checked, which there always will be. And we'll go from there. But I'll be live tomorrow, probably around about, I might be live in the morning tomorrow, again, just to get this wrapped up so I can get it all edited and scheduled and stuff. So most probably tomorrow morning. Alrighty. Guys, thank you. Appreciate you. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.